So you want to change your customer experience. Awesome. That is so important to the long-term success and revenue growth of your organization. Think about it. Everybody from churches to Costco to all the service businesses are taking a look at what is the experience of the user or the customer in their organization. And the ones that do it right are the ones who have gained the buy-in from the top. It's a commitment of the leadership to functionally and principally change the backbone of your organization to put the guest or the visitor or the customer right in the middle of everything you're doing. We also have talked about how you need to know where you're going. What does that ideal experience look like? What do you want the testimony of your customer to be when they experience your brand and your business? So today we're going to talk about a third part, which is strategy. Often the strategy for customer experience will involve a touch point or two. People will be like, oh, well, we have to fix up our website to make sure that its user experience is really good. And that is important. But if the strategy of a touch point is separate from an overall look at your organization, then you're going to find that there won't be long-term success for your organization. So what do I mean? In one company that we worked with, a huge company, they had really bad employee engagement. They had really bad customer ratings. And so we needed to see what could we do that would solve for both of those. And what we found was a lack of a core culture for employee engagement and that it wasn't aligned to our brand promise. So what we did with this organization was we redesigned a brand promise, a vision, a purpose. We created an internal culture around that. We rolled it out in a really fun way to all the staff and made sure that everyone knew this is our promise of our brand to our customers. That became the mantra for our internal culture. That promise to the customer was the promise to our employees, and it was the focus of our internal communication, our reward program, our prizes that we would do. We created little pads where people could see the core values in action and be able to say, oh, Sally did a great job. She was helpful, and I heard this, and we're glad to have her. They could acknowledge one another, honoring the core values of our culture, but also it was the promise of our brand. So that meant everybody outside and inside the organization were hearing the same thing, and they knew what the expectation was for a encounter with our organization. And where we fell short, you can guarantee that we heard about it, but we also had kind of a individualized, focused approach to how are we going to get from here to here on the customer experience. And you know what was interesting? We found out our brand became more effective. It was a simpler message. People really resonated with it. Our employee engagement rose like 16% in 1 year and 16% the year after. Our employees wanted to take better care of our customer, and they didn't know how. And this amalgamation of the culture, of the brand promise, and of the customer experience journey addressed the things that were keeping the staff from being able to take care of the customer. So their satisfaction and engagement in the job increased, turnover decreased, and wouldn't you know it, that our revenue and our enrollment and the number of customers that we got increased significantly. So it's not a surprise that the external customer review increased 36% in those 2 years as well, because we got clearer and we had 100% alignment externally, internally on our strategy for customer experience. It wasn't a touch point. It was How are we going to, as an organization, live, work, do, be our jobs to make sure that we fulfill our promise to the customer?